Do you really believe in yourself when you record those videos? Do you feel like an imposter?
I think, I mean, until I see the results that I'm looking for, it'll always be that little bit of imposter syndrome in the back of your head. But like, I think that what you're about to jam me with something here.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I know where I started, and I know that I made some content mistakes in the beginning stages, like of delivery and of like the messages maybe should have been said in a different tone or like different way. And that's something that I'm man enough to own up to and to realize like, okay, maybe that should have been said differently, or maybe that wasn't something I should have spoken on quite yet in my career. But it's like, it's all a learning process for me, and like it's all been a goal, and the big goal of getting better at speaking, and now the biggest goal of helping the kid that I used to be. And yeah, I can confidently say that I do believe in myself, and I think that there will always be self-doubt, like no matter what. There'll always be a little bit of it, and it's just about navigating how to remove those thoughts for me. Like that's where I'm at. It's like, okay, even when I get a little bit self-conscious or a little bit like, maybe this didn't come out right, or maybe I sound like an idiot, maybe like X, Y, and Z isn't gonna resonate with this. It's like, okay, F them, remove that thought and just get it out and move on to the next.
Well, I have a whole point that I wanted to make like with God, but I will jump in here with imposter syndrome is really interesting because we go to those wealth metrics: money, possessions, achievements, and status.
Yeah.
I don't struggle with considering myself a podcaster or YouTuber. Many people in my position do struggle. Why? Because they measure success by, I'll say in this case, like likes, views, money.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting a certain amount of views, they don't feel worthy to call themselves a YouTuber. I definitely fall into the category of not enough views to call yourself a YouTuber, if that exists. But the reason I don't struggle with that is because I don't measure success by views, and I've been doing YouTube for 5 years. I posted over 600 videos. So for me to not call myself a YouTuber would just be showcasing the fact that I measure success by views. Because I've done this, Alex Hormozy has a quote that I really like. You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror. You have to become confident by having a stack of evidence that you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've filmed 600 videos, so I believe that I'm this person.
Yeah.
But then it goes on to, you can have the opposite where someone might post their first TikTok tomorrow, get 10 million views, and they're going to get 10 million views, and all the rest of their content for a little bit is going to get views, but they're going to feel like an imposter because even though they have so many views, they know they didn't like, I'm not this person.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can have it all and be an imposter because you haven't put in the work, or you can put in the work and be an imposter because you measure success by views. And so it's like, there's just a lot of interesting dilemmas with the way you think about yourself. But then I was going to go on to like back to the working hard and the God point, which is I work hard and I know that like your habits and the way you live do affect your future, but ultimately it's like I feel so surrendered to God that that like stress, I don't have that stress because I just feel that and I pray this every day. I pray like God, have your way. So if I want this podcast to work out, and that's what it's been seeming like that is going well in my life. I've gotten bigger guests. It's grown over time. I feel blessed. I think that I'm a good speaker. It's seeming to go that way. But if God wanted to take this podcast away and put me in a grocery store, so be it. And that has given me the greatest peace of mind because it's just like feeling like I'm not the master of my future. And I really believe that I'm not the master of my future. I think I feel so blessed to be doing this and I love doing it, but if God wanted me to do something else, I like to imagine that I would accept whatever he has for me. On the flip side of that though, I also want to say that gives me extreme confidence that other people don't have. Like I've told people before, they get shocked when I say this. I wouldn't be surprised if in my career I film a podcast in space. I also wouldn't be surprised in my career if I film a podcast with Kim Jong-un. And people go, how could you possibly think those things are possible? And I go, bro, if God made the heavens and the earth and the people, if he wanted to use me to sit down with Kim Jong-un, that would be like the least impressive thing he could do. Like as far as everything he's created and done. So it's like, I just like don't even, I know that God is capable of wilder things beyond my wildest dreams and beliefs and this crazy things that played out in my life, that it's like, I don't even care to be the master of my future. I'm going to work hard because I believe that's what you should do.
Yeah.
But I don't care to be the master of my future. And I think it also helps me in my relationships, because the Bible says over and over again, pretty much just talks over and over again about how money means nothing, achievements mean nothing, but relationships mean everything. And so it's like, let's say I have an opportunity to work really hard, but I find myself in a conversation with some homeless dude about God. I'd rather sit there and talk to that dude for 5 hours than work on it, because now I'm working for God rather than for me. Right. And so that's like changed everything in my life. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, dude, I 100% respect people and their faith and religion, 100%. Like with like, so I grew up in a Catholic family. My dad is very religious. My dad is very, gives back to the church. Like that's like one of his, if you define my dad, it's like he retired from a corporate job. He goes to church, he gives back, he volunteers, he does all that, and he plays golf. He's learning it. He's all right at golf.
He's all right at golf.
He gets out there. And yeah, like that's him. And then my mother, my mom's side of the family, everyone big into God. And then Mike, kid I was telling you about, he and I went and shot a project up in Laguna Beach, because he gets these like brand deals to do like tourism board, whatever. So like tourism boards, yeah. So we went up in Laguna Beach doing this project for them. And he sits down and he goes, hey, like, let me ask you something. And I was like, what's up? And he goes, how come you don't go to church on Sunday? Like, how come you're not like, you know, there? And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know. I feel like I'll reconnect with that part of my life as I get older. And he goes, well, what if you die tomorrow?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, yeah, that's because like in my head, it's always been like, yeah, when I get older, you know, when I have a family, I want to take my kids to church. Like, I want them to be raised that way. But again, every week I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't found my like, you know, my reattachment to it. I mean, I used to go when I was a kid, and when I was like up to like high school, and then it became like something I didn't really want to do. And it's left me now just like detached from it. I do think I'll reattach or like dive back into that, but it's like, it's interesting to hear a guy like you like speak about that, and like talk about how it affects your mentality and your mindset and the way that you make decisions, and it's honorable 100%. I'm not able to resonate 100% just because I'm not on your level.
Bro, I mean, well, it just comes to priorities.
Yeah.
For a long time, I prioritized my dreams above God. I think that the narrative that culture has put on God is that it's boring. We look at our current lives and we go, I respect God, I was raised this way, but if I were to really lean into this and stop having sex and stop getting drunk and these things, I feel like my life would get boringer. And I felt the exact same way. I had a really intense situation where the girl I was dating almost died, and it kind of brought me to God. But it was the biggest blessing in the world because I was wrong. Nothing got boringer. All my relationships got better. All my discipline got better. My work got better. My mental health got better. And I always say this, like, I'm not trying to like convince you. Actually, I am trying to convince you to get closer to God. That's always a goal of mine.
Yeah.
But it's like, people think that God made these rules to be like a cosmic tester of like, who is my most loyal follower? God didn't make the rules to be a cosmic tester. The whole point of, if you're in the Christian faith, is that Jesus died for you while you were a sinner so that you could be saved. So it's not, you're not saved by the rules. God made the rules because he loves you. Because he designed the human and he knows exactly how you will thrive. And it's funny because as you go through life, they'll start going to the bars and they'll be like, wait, actually, getting blackout drunk doesn't help me. And then you read in the Bible, be sober-minded. And you go, oh, and I think sex is the hardest one for people. It's so instantly gratifying. It feels so good. It makes you feel closer to someone. But then you realize, bro,
It's horrible.
what it makes you attached to someone. If you're not committing to someone for life, why would you want to have that
Yeah.
attachment? It's the most intimate thing you can do with someone.
Yeah.
And you just, bro, I mean, the best thing I ever did was get back to those priorities.
Principles and more. Yeah.
And you're more than welcome, since you live in Carlsbad, to come to church with me.
Dude,
Come
yeah.
on.
I might have to.